Hi everyone, happy new year, happy 2021. Oh great, everything's going off right now. The team is here, they say hi and happy new year as well. So on January 2nd, I got this huge download from my team. This is the third or fourth time that this happens in January for me, that I get this download about the crystals that I should be working with for 2021. And maybe some of you know I have my own jewelry shop where I sell crystal jewelry infused with all sorts of love and good intentions. This is really interesting how it happens. Sometimes what happens is I just feel really attracted to a certain crystal all of a sudden. That's one of the ways they get my attention. And I don't know if you know this, but crystals have a consciousness of their own. They're sentient energy. So many times people think their consciousness is attracted to the crystal, when in fact it might actually be that the crystal itself is kind of calling you, magnetizing you to it. It wants to work with you. So that's one of the ways that crystals can communicate with us. And in the other case, it was just like, I just felt like this is the one. These are the crystals we should be working with. So I want to share those. I've got 5 crystals that are really coming up for this year that I want to share with you. Before I do that, for those of you who've been listening to my podcast for a while, or my vlog, or whatever you want to call this, Facebook Live for a while, I've told you that back in November, I felt the actual splitting of the timelines. I felt like a real definite, a defined split around November 15th. There was a bifurcation in the 2 major timelines that they were really starting to set and be solid. And really interesting occurrence happened that I pay attention to the Schumann resonance. So you can actually find readings of the live Schumann resonance, which is the heartbeat of the earth. And we've been getting a lot of ascension energy. So a lot of solar light coming in, which is part of how we ascend in consciousness, how we move up in frequency. We're getting a lot of light in, but the Schumann readings were really low, and it just didn't make sense to me. And one of the sites that I follow that tracks the Schumann resonance mentioned the same thing, that there was something off about these Schumann resonance readings. And then they found that a different machine, so they have these big machines that are reading the Schumann resonance, and I can't remember what they're called. But one of the major ones that people were watching was based in Russia, and this was having these sort of low readings where the Schumann resonance was staying around 8 or 13. Yet a lot of us were feeling the solar influx, the spikes in energy that would imply really big Schumann jumps, and we weren't seeing it. Well, another machine in Italy, based in Italy, has been picking these up, and it was crazy. They were hitting 800. Yesterday it was at 300. And the Schumann resonance community is arguing amongst itself, like trying to invalidate these higher readings. And my team was like, see, do you see the bifurcation now? And I was like, my mind was just blown. It was so blown that you could see with your eyes now that there are 2 different timeline readings for the Schumann resonance, for the heartbeat of the earth. There is this lower frequency reading where the Schumann stays really low and almost unawake, right? Because when the Schumann is at its base of 7.85, that is an equivalent to a human EKG reading, or an EEG reading of the brain, where the human's asleep. So that's kind of, it's really interesting that the Schumann on this lower timeline is staying asleep, whereas on the higher timeline, when you're awake, you're up in the you're up in like the 20s at least, as a kind of a awake and aware baseline. But this Schumann resonance on the higher timeline is spiking. It's going, I think today it was at 70, maybe 20, somewhere in there, but it's been spiking to 250, 300, 450, 800. It hit 800. And this is, if we could see that in humanity, I don't even know if we could track it, but this is beyond gamma, and gamma is like the highest, one of the higher mental states that you can be in. It's like when you're in like super meditation, that's gamma. this has been shooting out of gamma and going into lambda and beyond, and it's going into the quantum field is where the resonance is at. So I thought that was so cool that we can actually see it. I thought I'd share that with you because people are feeling it and it's not being acknowledged, but we're also, there's also like denial that it's happening, which is really interesting because when I talk about timelines, and when you're hearing people talk about timelines, it can feel kind of vague or maybe a little too sci-fi, like it doesn't quite make sense. Here's the thing though, with time, some people think of these timelines as perspectives, like, oh, you're just seeing things that way, or this other person is just choosing to see things this way. It's bigger than that because we're creator beings. So we don't just observe something, we create what we observe. What we decide we are experiencing, we start to create it. And these timelines represent that. They represent what is being creative, both on a personal level, but also as a collective level. And there's two different collective energies happening. And so I refer to it as a timeline because I think it's really important to remember and respect that each person's perspective is a reality. It is such a reality. And there's, to tell someone that they're wrong or they're blind or asleep or they're not looking at things or whatever, it's minimizing someone's real experience. It is a timeline. And the beautiful thing is you can move yourself. We can't move other people, but we can move ourselves. And we can travel back and forth between the two timelines. And there are variations. So you'd almost think about it as the two extreme points of timelines that are very, they're dense and have a lot of energy, but there's variations in between them that we can kind of slide up and down. I hope that makes sense. And we can travel in a day. We can be pretty low, we can hit high. What we're practicing is stabilizing by choice. Okay, so stabilizing by choice. This is really important. I will continue to talk about this in future Facebook Lives. Stabilizing by choice means you need to start choosing where you want to be, right? Don't let the outside world dictate to you. Don't let someone else tell you where you have to go. You choose by what feels right in your heart for you. And that helps you to stabilize. And I honestly feel if people just trust themselves and follow their heart, follow their heart, not the noise, that they will naturally end up on a higher timeline anyway. Okay, so that's my 2 cents about timelines. Get into the crystals, the crystal report or the energy report I got from the team. I'm going to tell you about 5 different crystals, and then we're going to do a crystal reading as well. So to start with, these are the crystals that just started asking me to send them to people. So when I make jewelry for people, when someone purchases something from me, I usually get a little nudge to send them something extra. And the first crystal was like, send me. I need to be out there now, and I want to be as many places as you can send me. And that crystal is red jasper. Now, I gave away all my red jasper, so I don't have a picture of it, but it is very close looking to this. This is carnelian, which is also one of the stones we'll talk about. They are related, actually. Red jasper and carnelian have something in common that gives them a similar color. So red jasper can be kind of like a very reddy, like a dirt earth red. Many times it has like these metallic looking veins of like a dark silver color in them. And that is hematite. And that's what carnelian and red jasper share. Hematite is what gives them their color, and also gives them a similar frequency, except jasper is connected to quartz, where carnelian is part of the Chalcedony family. So we've got red jasper first. I want to talk about this energy. And again, I don't have a a crystal to show you. But red jasper, I would call it the courage stone. And it's a type of crystal that's called a seeker crystal. So it has its matrix pattern is a hexagonal structure. And this energy is it goes out and gets what you're looking for. So red jasper is a seeker, and it seeks to bring you courage, willpower, readiness for conflict, honesty, strength, steadfastness, lively, dynamic, courageous energy. It helps to bring ideas into action, and it's considered a supreme nurturer. So it's very nurturing, it's very earthy, it grounds you, it anchors and connects you to the earth, but it also infuses you with life force energy. It really revs up your root chakra, which I feel like is very important this year. A lot of people are going to feel ungrounded by the change energy of 2021. 2021 is a 5 universal year. There's a lot of change energy to it. So red jasper helps you stay personally anchored to the earth. It gives you courage, and it helps to empower you on a personal level. All right, so the next stone is carnelian. That's the next one. It's right next door, best friends with jasper. And here's another version of it. So here's one with I would say, I love that one. It's so pretty. So you can see that carnelian can have quite a range of color to it. And this one is also a type of seeker crystal, and it's connected to your root chakra. Both of these are connected to fire energy, right? And I would call this one your creativity stone. So this is, again, actively seeking creative solutions or creative energy. It is a vitality stone. Again, it infuses you with courage. This one's great for public speaking, by the way. I carry this with me a lot when I have to get on camera because it's so nerve-wracking to talk live. So I often have my carnelian here with me. It is an excellent stone for overcoming difficulty. It gives you pragmatism. So it helps you be very pragmatic about how you're going to do something. It's empowering. It gives you personal power. It helps you stay in the present moment, keeps you grounded, keeps you in the present moment, keeps your mind focused. It's motivating. So it helps with if you feel apathy or if you feel stuck, grab some carnelian and hold it for a while. This is going to help, again, infuse you, anchor you. It kind of clears the mind, and it helps get the creative juices flowing. The next stone that I want to share with you, and this is a tiny piece, but this is golden rutile quartz. Okay, and this is a different kind of crystal. The first two crystals I mentioned are seekers, so they are very active. They're going out, finding that energy, and they're like pulling you to what you're looking for. This type of crystal has a tetragonal matrix structure to it. The way its crystals are formed is tetragonal. These are known as like attractor crystals. So they don't have a doing energy. They have a very passive energy to them. They're very magnetic in how they bring things to you. So I actually recommend golden rutile to be used with a more active stone. Like you could pair a golden rutile with like the carnelian. That would be a really good pair because the carnelian is going to draw in the energy, and this stone's just going to kind of pull it in and kind of infuse you with it. So this piece I think is really beautiful, and it's really good for people who are struggling with lower emotions. This is a very uplifting stone. I would call it the uplifter. And the energy of golden rutile is all about independence, freedom, having personal space, like having your space, honesty, spiritual greatness. It's known as a mood enhancing crystal, and it's often used to help with depression and more heavy energy or oppressive energy. It helps to alleviate anxiety because, again, it's a magnetic type of stone. It creates sort of an atmospheric energy around it. So when you're holding it, when you're feeling it, You feel more calm, relaxed, and you start to have more like sunny disposition. So golden rutile has it looks like little straws of gold that run through it. And I would say that this one would be especially beneficial to wear. So you might see in the future me bringing out some kind of piece that has golden rutile in it so that you can wear it on the skin. Because I feel like having it around you creates that sort of energy field that acts like a beautiful shield, right? It's shielding out the negative and it's increasing the positive energy around you. And it works to eliminate any kind of circumstances where there's interference. So again, it works like a shield. It creates a sort of bubble where it's blocking out interference, things that would keep you feeling lower in frequency. The next one, so cool, is Halite. Okay, you see that? This is Halite. Look at that. I love that little pink color right there. This is actually salt. This is like the natural form of our table salt is halite. It's a salt crystal, right? So its structure is it's cubic in its structure. This stone is known as the master cleanser. So for those of us who work with salt, who understand the amazing healing and beneficial properties of salt, you guys know that salt is the master detoxifier. It detoxifies everything. Like selenite, except selenite is a crystal structure where this is a salt crystal. This is like the earth right here. It's salt of the earth, master cleanser. This is known as an enhancer crystal. So again, we've got enhancers enhance a quality that you want about yourself. This one's all about self-improvement. And if you think about it, detox and self-improvement go hand in hand, because what are you doing when you detox? You are eliminating impurities from your system, which is what Halite is here to do. But as we eliminate impurities, we get to experience the true nature of ourself, which is self-improvement. This also provides protection. Salt is a protection. It acts like a barrier, right? So when we're working with salt, sometimes we will use it as like a ring. You can make a little ring around yourself, and that's like a salt barrier. It purifies, it gives inner balance, it dissolves patterns of unconscious thinking and behavior, and helps with the subtle energy influences. So this means those energies we don't even recognize are around us. When we work with salt, like for example, you can put salt in the corners of your home and it'll draw out the negative impurities in the air, but it also is said to kind of trap negative energy into the salt, and then you release it. You release it outside. This has that same kind of ability for us, Halite. It can trap what you don't see, right? So negative influences aren't always something that, it's not like in the movies where you're like, oh, there's a bad guy, right? Like there's that ghosty figure. No, no. Most negative energies aren't even physical. They have no physical body. They are simply an energy. They are a thought form, and they attach to where we feel incomplete in ourselves. That's where negative energy likes to attach to us. So Halite is an excellent stone for having around you when you feel like, one, like you can't get out of a funk and you're not sure why. You're not sure where you got in that funk. This is a great piece to have because it just immediately starts to suck in all that energy. Now, this is a soft stone. So soft stones, when they get wet, they will dissolve, just like selenite eventually dissolves as well. But I think this is a good thing because after a while you get enough, if you have a piece long enough and you're using it to pull out negative energy, you actually want to release it at some point. So unlike selenite, which is self-cleaning, selenite, here I got some selenite. Selenite's always cleaning itself, so it never really holds on to it. Halite is more absorbent than that, so you could keep it with something like selenite to just keep it clear. Or if you're like, you know what, I just want to suck it all up and then give it back to the earth, then you can just, bury it outside or let it melt away in water. But it's such a beautiful, powerful stone. And here's another picture of Halite, just so you can see that. See how beautiful and potent that is. It's kind of like, oh, got a clear whitish pinkish color and can be very sparkly too. Right. And then the last one is one I'd never heard of. This one I had asked about. I was like, is there anybody else I need to know about? So I go to my crystal card deck and this beauty pops out. This one right here. This is Anandalite. And when I read this one, I was like, yes, yes, I love this one. Anandalite. I am looking for pieces of Anandalite right now. I want to see if I could make sure, if I can make jewelry out of it. I haven't found it, but I'm going to find Anandalite. This is also a seeker crystal, so this makes it very active. And it usually, I've only found the clusters. I've not found like little stones of it. So I think it stays in this sort of like cluster form. This is called Cosmic Consciousness. And I love this one. So this is a great one for people who are working in the higher timeline. You know, you're there, you feel it. You're like, yeah, I feel good. I feel this energy, right? And you're hanging out up there, or you've been there. You've been in your higher timeline and you're like, I want to go back. I want more. Anandalite is your best friend now, because Anandalite's going to actively seek the higher timeline for us. This one creates emotional strength and stimulates our intuition. It is a stone of enlightenment, and you feel your cosmic consciousness, your connection to everything. It's like you're out of the matrix. It all makes sense. That's Anandalite. It is such a high frequency stone. This stone, and actually Halite itself, is also very high frequency. Very high frequency crystal. They both work on clearing the chakras. This one clears them all. It really works on the upper three above our head: causal, soul star, and stellar gateway. Very activating. And it allows you to be okay with letting old structures dissolve. Isn't that where we're at? I think so. I think we are at the dissolving of old structures. It lets you be at peace with the dissolving of old structures because you're so aware of the new light shining through. You see it and feel it and know it. And this just strengthens that. And it really, we're preparing to get to cosmic consciousness. Awesome sauce things happen for us when we all get cosmic consciousness. When the rest of humanity is there, we make the quantum shift and know that that's what we're here for. Yeah, we are here for the cosmic quantum shift. So I am going to find you Anandalite. I'm going to bring it to my shop. I'm going to do something cool with it when I find it. But I encourage you to also go check it out. Great resources really for crystals. You'll be surprised. You might not know this. Etsy. That's where I have my shop. It's not just like jewelry. Like there's a lot of crystal sellers who sell directly to Etsy. So if you want to get a really cool stone and support a small business, it's a win-win right there. I want to do a crystal card reading for you now. So we'll get back to karma cards next week, but I want to do a crystal reading for you now. So here's how we're going to play it. I have 3 crystals that I've already pre-selected. I've got messages for each of them. And I just want you to just take a moment, tune into yourself, and see what crystal is calling you. So you just, let's do it. Let's do 1, 2, or 3. So feel into number 1, feel into number 2, and feel into number 3. I'm going to preface this by saying you'll know the difference between this statement. It is either a message for right now, like maybe just what you need today, or you'll know if it's the message of like, I need this, like I need this right now. And all 5 of these crystals, I feel work together very well. So you could have all of them. They're all kind of helping you get stronger. 2 of them are like very strong, strengthening crystals. They're helping you to have peace and let go and move forward. All of these things. Okay, so let's go in. So for those watching and the recording, hello, recording. If you chose number 1, your crystal messenger is Carnelian. Carnelian wants to be your friend. So here's your message from Carnelian. You have the ability to remain calm during disputes and self-control not to follow the crowd. I'm just going to put that there and leave it there. You have courage in the face of danger, and this comes from inner strength and not foolhardiness. Carnelian will protect you from glamour spells. I'm going to talk more about this year. A glamour spell is a spell where you are, that was the TV on there. It sounds just like, it is just like what it sounds like. A glamour spell is where if you've ever seen the movie The Craft, they kind of do it for you, but it's an illusion. It is making something look better than it is, making something seem better than it is. It is a complete illusion. So this helps protect you from those. It helps to break the spell. Once you break a glamour spell, that you can't be re-glamored by that particular person or experience, if that makes sense. It also protects from the evil eye and envy, and therefore it brings a lot of good fortune to the wearer. It asks you to be elegant, creative, and bold. Do not back down. Trust your intuitive perspective. It even asks you to consider being a mentor to others in some way. It helps to alleviate stress, and it reminds you, please take time to play, because you will be a tower of strength during times of sorrow. It helps you to stay anchored in the present. So again, I would call this like a creativity and courage stone, and it's a seeker, so it's a very powerful energy too. So for those who chose number 2, your crystal BFF who's calling you is Halite. Halite is calling you. All right, Halite wants you to know that there are subtle ties and influences that may be affecting you more than you recognize. These are they can be unacknowledged feelings that create this kind of attachment, like abandonment, rejection, or neediness, that may have left you open to lower energies. So if you find yourself feeling emotional about things happening in the world, if you feel like any kind of despair or helplessness, these lower energies, these lower emotions, they lower us on so many levels, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and that leaves us open to influence of lower energies. Halite draws out impurities from your body, mind, soul, and spirit. It dissolves old patterns and toxic emotions. And the message here is it's a time for a thorough clean out of your life on all levels to ensure your well-being and to anchor you into the earth. So again, it gives you this grounded, anchoring, deep cleansing energy. And again, these crystals, right, it might be for the moment. They might be something that you want to have around you all the time. I feel like when you start getting into really tuning into your body, you always know when the detox comes. Sometimes it's cyclical, meaning like every beginning of the year, you naturally want to clean things out. You want to detox your home. You want to get healthier. That's very common, but sometimes your body and or energy, you can tell when you can't just move your energy. Sometimes we get into a funk. This here can help assist drawing it out. Okay. All right, so for those who are choosing 3, okay, the crystal you chose is Anandalite. I love this one. Look at that. It's so beautiful. Okay, this is a really good one. And this again, I feel is really beneficial to everyone. But for those who felt drawn to 3, you have the ability to live in a completely different dimension of consciousness. Realize that you were previously operating with a narrower bandwidth of awareness. And again, this is very common. I mean, that's kind of the human evolution. We always start from one point and we grow and evolve after we have lots of experience. So this is highlighting for you that experience has expanded your mind. Let feelings of separation fall away and embrace unity. This stone facilitates integration and releases spiritual blocks, inhibiting spiritual awakening. I love that, because for those of us who've done shadow work or do pieces work, right, when we come up to what is limiting us or blocking us, it can feel like a really hard energy to move. That's Mr. Pants, by the way, making all that noise.
Sorry, that was Pants.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
So it can feel like really heavy energy to move when we become aware of lower energy that's blocking us. It's nice to know that there are energies like crystals that are designed to help us naturally vibrate higher, right? Think of it as like a Jedi stone. It's here to help you like move things with your mind, if you will. Okay, so it reminds us that consciousness, right? Consciousness is another word for life, is another word for nature, is another word for source. We're consciousness at our core. So consciousness is all seeing and all knowing. And it says, immerse yourself in the interconnectedness that is cosmic consciousness. You are here to experience your cosmic consciousness. Transform your goals and seek a new direction. So as we expand our mind, the things we think we want often change. That's okay. It's part of adapting. It's part of expansion. And many times our goals aren't something that tweaks drastically. It's like a little tweak. The focus changes and it becomes a deeper, richer, and more exciting experience for you. You have exceptionally clear insight right now. You may feel stripped to the bone as the old falls away. So again, the old paradigm is dying and falling away. We're watching it happen. But don't despair. New light is now being infused. And if you go and look at the Schumann resonance, you will see that light. Literally, you can see it being tracked. Each of us transforms our awareness. So as, again, the final message here saying is, as each of us transforms, we move up into higher states of consciousness individually, but we will do this collectively. When the majority of the collective gets there, quantum shift, and it's going to be so stellar. I would say, like, here's what I'm doing to encourage that energy of quantum shift, okay? I watched Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Anybody watch that movie? Do you like it? Do you not like it? There is definitely stuff, there's every once in a while you see something and you're like, that resonates as true somehow. So not the whole story, but there are elements to it where it's talking about like expanding. It's like, get out of this little box that you think you're in and expand your consciousness. Allow yourself to see more than you've ever saw before. So that's one of those kind of fun movies that you never heard. Well, sorry, Sylvia just broke my brain. You've never heard of that movie? Oh, you'd love it. It's so good. It's actually a book, and it was a television series in the 80s on the BBC. But after watching the television series, I really liked the movie more. I feel like they nailed the characters better. But that was a really fun one to watch. You've got... What? We got... You guys are breaking my brain. Hold on. I'm having cognitive dissonance. Too many people that I would assume watch that movie. I've never watched it. Holy crap, you guys, it's such a fun movie to watch. I mean, it's some of the elements in it are a little sad, but the way that they did it is it's really fun. My kids and I sing the dolphin song. Now you have to go watch it so you know what the dolphin song is, but I watched that. Also, I've been watching Stargate SG-1. And the reason why is I found out there's a bunch of disclosure in that particular series, Stargate SG-1. And I remember having roommates who watched that at the time, and I was like, oh, I'm such a dork. I just didn't get it years ago because it came out in like 96, 97. And I was like, what is this? And now I'm like, I can't wait to watch another episode. And it's so much disclosure in it. So has anybody seen that? Here. Anybody seen Stargate SG-1? Lots of disclosure. So that's all about the Stargate project, which is real. And Stargates are a form of travel. Let you travel to different planets without... Shut you. You're joking with me now. You've got to be joking. Therese is in another dimension now where all the TV shows and movies I've watched don't exist. Ah, gosh, I love it. No, okay. Stargate SG-1. There's this document that a group of friends and we found that is a disclosure document, and they kept talking about Stargate SG-1. Go watch that show. They were giving us a lot of disclosure. They gave us disclosure in Battlestar Galactica and also Star Trek as well, which is why it resonates with people. Think about that. We already know what we're about to remember. So part of our expanding consciousness isn't learning things it's not about learning what you don't know. It's about remembering what you know. That's a different way of thinking about it. So the reason why TV shows and movies like Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, Stargate SG-1, and so on resonate with people is because it sparks consciousness inside of us. We're like, I don't know why that feels right, but it feels right. And that's why it has such and Star Wars as well, right? These have huge cultural followings. And it's not because it's just a cool concept. It's because something resonates in it, just like Harry Potter. And maybe we'll talk more about that this year. Why is it resonant, right? We often think it's because it's something, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be fun? No, it's because it's sparking memory. It's sparking consciousness. You don't know why it resonates, but it deeply resonates. So these are things that you can do to help increase the incoming energy of cosmic knowledge. It'll get you to ask questions. But if I'm telling you, when you start watching things like Stargate SG-1 and you learn about the species who's the bad guy in that one, for those of you who understand the deeper battles here on Earth, that's going to resonate for you. You're going to be like, oh crap, they were telling us about it back then. Yeah. So these are fun things to do to spark that cosmic awakening consciousness, to get the good old memory juices flowing, so you can remind yourself that there's more here than just a cool plot line that you like. There's something that's resonating even deeper for you. What is it? What is it? And let it just infuse, right? Infuse your consciousness. When that happens, many times people start getting dreams, or they start just kind of understanding how things work on a physics level. I mean, there's so much that we're going to see and achieve in a very small period of time that's going to blow us away. I mean, for those of us who saw the technology leap, right, in the early 90s, when we saw that leap, we're about to see a leap much greater than that. But we are going to tell stories about remember when ... right? Remember when we needed a grocery store. Remember when we needed a hospital. I mean, that kind of stuff. Like, we're going to leave so many things in the past and receive so much in the future. It's going to take a while, but part of what we can do is help prime our consciousness, help call it in with our own creative energy. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that reading. All of these stones are here for you on the planet, waiting to help you and assist you in these ways. I hope it helps. Let me know in the comments if you got some. Show me pictures. I want to see it. I want to see your crystal friends. Okay? And until next time, sending you so much love. Thank you for being here with me. And I will share those links with you in the comments after I get this all posted. All right. Yay. Who is Harry Potter? Okay. I was like, no. We're not going to end that way. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell so that you know the next time I release a new video. Until then, stay magical.